Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
I'm not looking for war, and if there is, it'll be obliteration like you've never seen before.
Harsh words from the president in an exclusive interview with NBC's Chuck Todd on Meet the Press this weekend. The pressure he's putting on Iran today to avoid the war as the United Nations Security Council meets to try and do the same.
Yet another vacation turned horribly wrong. What we know about the latest American death in the Dominican Republic, plus what Dominican officials are saying about the tragedies.
And it was a historic week, and a lot of people are talking about 3 consecutive walk-offs, all by Dodger rookies. And those big wins give the boys in blue a pretty big lead. We'll show you where they stand coming up.
Bottom of the hour, I'm Tabitha Mills in for Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, one of the biggest Dodger fans around, if you will.
Oh, man.
I don't know who's going to catch up to him now. I think that
well, I mean, that is the hope.
There is a lot of baseball to play.
I mean, that's the thing. We still have more than half the season left. And, you know, a lot of things can change, especially in the later half. And I know a lot of people are even looking at the Rockies, who, you know, came from the bottom of the league. And now they're in the second spot right now in the West, you know, still behind from the Dodgers. But, you know, a lot of people, of course, are keeping a close eye on baseball as we approach the halfway point.
A lot of people are rooting for those Dodgers right now.
I'll tell you, you can't ask for a better Monday morning to be on the beach along the Central Coast. I've seen some folks walking and running along the beach. We've got a marine layer out here. The weather is just perfect. So if you're looking for a getaway today on this Monday, if you can escape town and beat the heat, I would say come along the Central Coast, maybe Morro Bay, Cayucas, or up near Cambria. All areas are just beautiful. I'm going to highlight some of those coming up in just a little bit, but it definitely is a beautiful morning here in Cayucas. Let's talk about our overall weather today, and we'll start with our high yesterday. We were in the upper 90s. Bakersfield hit 98 degrees. Now, our record yesterday was 110, and that was set back in 1977. Right now, 73. A light easterly wind at 5, and as you see the temperatures throughout the day, we will rise near 100. I think we will kind of make our way into the triple digits. 61 degrees in Tehachapi with a west-northwest wind at 9. A little bit of a breeze throughout the day, and you can see temperatures will be back into the 80s for you.
Tensions are rising. Today, the U.S. plans to announce more economic sanctions against Iran.
Yeah, this comes just days after President Trump called off what could have been a deadly airstrike. Tracy Potts is on Capitol Hill this morning with the latest developments. Good morning, Tracy.
Alex and Tabitha, good morning. There is growing concern around the world about these escalating tensions between the United States and Iran. The UN Security Council is meeting about that today. They're trying to find a way to avoid war.
That message,
which is?
I'm not looking for war.
Avoiding war means putting the squeeze on Iran's economy. The U.S. is expected to announce a new round of sanctions today, leaving the door open to talk about shutting down Iran's nuclear program.
If you want to talk about it, good. Otherwise, you can live in a shattered economy for a long time to come.
President Trump called off an airstrike that the military says would have killed 150 Iranians. Retaliation for Iran shooting down a U.S. drone. Democrats agree it was the right move, but urge caution.
It ought to be an international response. It shouldn't be the U.S. acting alone.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in the Middle East this week trying to drum up support.
I hope that the Iranians will understand that the world won't tolerate this.
Iran is blaming the U.S. Military experts fear we could be inching toward war.
My biggest concern is the president is running out of room, running out of options.
And perhaps running out of time. The real concern here is preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. But Iran has already announced that in a matter of days, they'll have more enriched uranium in their stockpile than they're allowed in the nuclear deal. In Washington, Tracy Potts, 17 News.
6:37 now, and with the first Democratic debate just around the corner, one of the candidates is dealing with a big issue far from the campaign trail.
Get the people that are racist off the streets.
South Bend, Indiana Mayor and Democratic presidential hopeful Pete Buttigieg is working to ease tensions between police and the black community after a deadly shooting on Father's Day. A white police officer shot and killed a black man named Eric Logan, but the officer's body camera was turned off. Buttigieg has spent most of the last week off the campaign trail trying to manage fallout from that shooting. Yesterday, he attended a town hall hosted by the NAACP. As Buttigieg faces demands to fire the officers involved, he's agreed on support of an outside investigation. Buttigieg is set to take the stage during the second night of the Democratic presidential primary debate. The two-part event airs right here on TV 17 on Wednesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. And we'll have a complete recap of the debate here on Sunrise Thursday and Friday mornings.
For the 10th time in just over a year, an American death is being linked to the Dominican Republic. A man from New York died while vacationing on the island last week. The State Department hasn't identified the man, but family members say he's Vittorio Caruso. Dominican police say he died at a hospital in Santo Domingo, where he was being treated since June 11th. Family members say Caruso suddenly got sick and died of respiratory failure. An autopsy is pending. Dominican Republic officials have said that the 10 traveler deaths are isolated events.
6:38 now, and men and women in blue from across the state will come together today to remember a fallen Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. Police say a man shot Joseph Solano in the head on June 10th while he was at a Jack-in-the-Box in Alhambra. Investigators say 2 days later, officers arrested 30-year-old Rhett McKenzie Nelson of Utah. He's charged with Solano's death and 2 counts of robbery. Nelson is being held without bail. He is set to appear in court on July 22nd.
Students at Sacramento State gathered last night to pay tribute to Officer Tara O'Sullivan, just days after she was killed in the line of duty. O'Sullivan graduated from Sac State in 2017 and was one of the first women to graduate from the university's law enforcement training program. Classmates, fellow officers, and complete strangers were on campus last night to show their support for her family. The 26-year-old officer was shot and killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call Wednesday. A memorial service for O'Sullivan is planned for Thursday at a Roseville church.
A shelter dog and 911 dispatcher working the night of O'Sullivan's death have found a special connection to each other as the result of the tragic situation. In the wake of that shooting, a shelter brought in some dogs to act as therapy puppies to help the dispatchers deal with the stress of handling that call. The dispatcher came across this adorable puppy and knew right away he wanted to take him home.
He's really helped a lot. He's helped distract me. It was a hard situation to go through, and Solly's really kind of helped me through it.
You just heard the puppy's name is Sully. That is short for O'Sullivan, in honor of fallen officer Tara O'Sullivan.
Sports news now, and a step in the right direction on the road to recovery for former Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz. The baseball legend is now out of intensive care, and you may remember 2 weeks ago he was shot at a bar in his native Dominican Republic. The bullet passed through him and hit his friend in the leg. In a statement, Ortiz's wife says he's in good condition as he continues to recover in Boston.
Well, it was a weekend to remember at Dodger Stadium after 3 big wins.
Fly ball center field, Kern pretty well, Hampson back, up the wall, would you believe it? They've done it again!
That was Dodger rookie Will Smith ending yesterday's game with a walk-off home run. He came up from the minors just hours before making that play. This was a series a lot of people are going to be talking about. The Dodgers swept the Rockies in a 3-game series this weekend. Each game ending with a walk-off home run by a Dodger rookie. That has never been done in MLB history. A walk-off happens when a run is scored by the home team at the bottom of the final inning to end the game with a win. The Dodgers are dominating the majors. They've won 54 games so far this season. That is the most in the majors by 4 games. In the National League West, the Dodgers dominate with a 13-game lead over Colorado. And that was not the only thing that people are going to be talking about. They're also talking about Walker Buehler, who had 16 strikeouts. That is a huge, huge accomplishment by Walker Buehler, who went 9 innings.
Yeah.
9 innings, 16 strikeouts.
Everyone was talking about it on social media, too. You know it's a big deal if it's trending. Our boss even posting on
Instagram.
Yeah.
So exciting time for Dodger fans out there. I actually was on Facebook posting some things, and a lot of fans, of course, were responding, saying, maybe third time's a charm for the World Series. Who knows? Still a little too early to tell, but a very exciting time.
Baseball's a superstitious sport, so don't talk about it.
No,
it's
you
like
can't.
a no-no.
You can't.
That
is a big no-no. You can't talk about it. Of course, we still have a long way to go in the season. Welcome back into 6:57 now, and recapping our top stories on this Monday morning. Recovery efforts are set to resume after fast-moving currents swept away an 11-year-old girl on Saturday. Search and rescue crews say the search has turned from rescue to recovery efforts, and she is not the only person search and rescue crews are looking for. KCSO says the search is happening in the same area where a pair of cousins went missing last Sunday. Crews are still working to recover their bodies. Meanwhile, the Tulare County Sheriff's Office is searching for the body of a missing man since Wednesday.
California Treasurer Fiona Ma Watts wants to make sure everyone who wants to own a home in California can. She's making stops in cities across the state to find out what's standing in the way of people who don't own homes. Ma will be in Bakersfield this morning hosting a public meeting from 9 to 11 at Casa de Eva on East California Avenue.
And before we go, here's a look at your week ahead. Today, BPD will host Coffee with a Cop at Krispy Kreme Donuts off Rosedale Highway. Tomorrow, Kern County's newest EMTs and paramedics will graduate with a celebration at the Elks Lodge in Bakersfield. On Wednesday, the Houchin Blood Drive continues, so come out, donate some blood at the bank's 13th annual drive right across the street from our KGET studios. On Thursday, comedian Aziz Ansari will be performing at the Bakersfield Fox Theater. The show begins at 8 on Friday. Enjoy a free movie at the park. County departments will host a resource fair followed by a showing of the movie Wonder. It all begins at 6 o'clock. And then on Saturday, you can start planning your next pickleball match at Bakersfield's newest court, opening in Jastrow Park. And this weekend, come out and support the Beal Band concert featuring the Bakersfield Municipal Band. And here's a live look outside downtown Bakersfield as the sun continues to rise. It's going to be another warm day. Enjoy the cool temperatures while it lasts.
Yeah, we hope you have a great Monday. That's all for us this morning here on 17 News at Sunrise.
Make it a great Monday, everyone.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.